Welcome to Live with Miami's Community News, South Florida's #1 source for local stories. I'm Michael Miller, bringing people together and sharing the voices, events, and connections that shape our community.
Cheers, guys.
That'd be true.
I'm all in to be the Miami-Dade County mayor.
That event, tell everybody about it. What's next? What do we have to do?
Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. Our special guest is Annette Jose, who is the director of the Miami-Dade Animal Service. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So most people love dogs and cats and other critters. Most of American homes have one of those animals, and then birds are in there someplace, right? You got a tough job, right?
Yeah.
And we know where we've sort of been, but let's look to the future. This is almost 2026. It's around the corner. So let's look down the road 2 years and 5 years and perhaps 10 years down the road. Tell us where animal service is going to be.
Well, we continue to face an overpopulation crisis here in Miami-Dade County and across the country. So our goal is to get more people to participate in adoptions. We need adoptions of dogs. We need adoptions of cats. We need to empty the shelters because we know dogs and cats do not belong in a shelter. They belong in homes. They want to be with families. They're homebodies. They're social animals. So we want to reduce the shelter population so we get to a point where we're only keeping dogs and cats on a temporary basis on their way to forever homes.
When so often people, think that when animals go into a facility like this, that their odds of not being euthanized is very high. But in reality, it's just the opposite.
Well, we only euthanize in extreme circumstances. And the reasons for euthanasia in Miami-Dade County fall under safety for the community. We have to ensure that an animal that is going into a home is a safe animal. So a dog that has shown aggression that we're concerned that might bite a child, a visitor to that home, that dog may not make it to the adoption floor. Animals that are very sick, we don't have the resources to spend a lot of money on cancer treatment, for example. So we end suffering. We don't make animals suffer through painful tumors and masses. We will use humane euthanasia to end suffering.
So certainly one of the management tools is sterilization. Tell us about what went on in the past 5 or 10 years ago, what's going on today, and what does it look like as far as being able to control part of that population?
Yeah, so every year we're increasing the number of spay and neuter surgeries we do, and we're lucky that we have partners in the community like the Miami Vet Foundation, like the Street Cat Clinic, like the Cat Network. All of these are partners that help us provide low-cost spay-neuter services. We also have FOMA, Friends of Miami Animals, who provides a lot of funding and especially gears towards large dogs. They want to decrease the large dog population by providing free spay and neuter. What we need is the community to participate. We have these low-cost services. We have many free spay and neuter events, but sometimes they're not well participated. So we want everyone to spread the word. If you own a dog, if you have a dog that is a larger dog, these events are free to use. So please come and take advantage of them.
So one of the things that is happening recently is with all the peacocks running around,
Yes.
they're getting sterilized.
Yes.
And I was speaking to one of the folks in one of the cities. I said, if you don't do that, your population in a couple of years, they're going to be everywhere.
Yeah, so peacocks reproduce at a higher rate than dogs and cats, maybe. But they're beautiful creatures, and we want to do what's right. Animal Services does not have any kind of responsibility over the peacock population. But, as a resident here in Miami, I am aware that they are everywhere in almost every neighborhood now. And it's great that people are using humane ways to control the population.
Let's talk about outside cats. Sometimes I hear the word feral.
Yeah.
When I think of a feral cat, it's like it looks like a tiger almost. Yeah. But and the definition of a feral cat is what, though?
Just a free roaming cat there that is not socialized. It's not used to being in a family home. And we have many of them. And we do have a robust spay and neuter program for cats. It's called TNVR, Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, and Release, which means we will trap your cats, bring them into the shelter, sterilize them, give them vaccines, make sure they're healthy, put them back into the community. That way they don't keep reproducing. We provide about 20,000 spay-neuter surgeries for cats in the community.
And you go out into areas where there are groups of cats and you catch them up, sterilize them. How long does it take before you put them back, more or less?
2 days at max. So,
and they adjust to out there again because they recognize everything.
Correct. You put them, the important thing is to put them right back into their community they came from, because they have colonies, and those colonies are established, and the colonies live on for many, many years. New cats join, some cats die off, but the colony thrives. So it's very important to put them back into the colony that they came from.
You know, so often, myself included, you know, we have one outside cat.
Yeah. And then you have two.
Yes. And so this one in particular is blind in one eye, so she stays on our patio. And she's the only one there until it comes time for us to feed her.
She has friends. She
has friends that come over.
Dinner guests. That's okay.
And so, and it's all good. But if people are going to feed their outside cats at their house, they should expect them that that's where they're going to be hanging out.
That's right. And you know, for the most part, it's good to have cats. They keep the rodents away. They're not high maintenance. You know, you feed them twice a day, and it gives you a little company sometimes in your
Our
late
biggest
afternoon.
challenge is when we're walking out with the food that they run into us on purpose, like bump up against us. And I know they're being affectionate, pay attention to me. So I'm usually picking them up and moving them around so they don't eat each other's food. So let's talk about pet adoptions for either one of those. Let's talk about not just the what they need to pay for, but what's the reason for having all the shots that they're given when they adopt, and as far as sterilization.
So we want to encourage adoptions. We want to make adoptions as easy as possible. We have 580 dogs in our shelters right now, and that's too many dogs. And adoptions are going down, not just in Miami-Dade County, but across the country. We're seeing that adoptions of dogs from shelters is going down. So we're here to encourage as many adoptions as possible. We want to make sure that when you adopt from Miami-Dade Animal Services, you're taking home a healthy pet. That includes their spay and neuter surgery, their vaccines, a microchip, and we also have a low-cost wellness clinic that you can continue to visit year after year, where you can get low-cost vaccines and your rabies vaccine. So we want to make pet ownership an easy, burden-free responsibility.
Let's talk about what happened with the COVID. COVID struck home in January, February, March 2020.
Yeah.
At that point, there were a lot of pets, a lot of dogs and cats in the center. What happened over those next couple of years to your population? You know,
because of the need for hospitals and to use PPE treating patients, the veterinarian community decided to slow down surgeries and stop them in general, because we wanted to allow all of the PPE to go to hospitals. So for a year to 18 months, there were no surgeries happening, which is why we're seeing this overpopulation crisis right now. That's one of the theories behind why we have overpopulation. And now it's getting people back into the habit. So responsible pet ownership includes making sure that your pets are sterilized, making sure that if you see free roaming cats in your community, you call Animal Services and we help you with the TNVR services. We connect you to trappers in your community if we're unable to assist you right at that moment. There's many resources and services that are available to help us all work together to control the population.
At some point, there were very few dogs to adopt, if I remember correctly.
Yes. So COVID was, the whole country came together and started adopting animals, and we got down to no animals in our shelter. There was only a few dogs left in the shelter, but now we're at the opposite end. We have more dogs than we've ever had.
That's 580 that are there.
580.
How do you manage the diseases that can occur, whether it doesn't matter what type of animals, all right?
Yeah.
In this case, it's dogs and cats. If you had if you have a lot of birds together, especially when you bring new
You
stuff
have a lot of kids together. It happens in daycares, right?
Yeah, the petri dish, as we call it. You got a cold, no wonder you must have kids.
Yeah, so that's one of the things about shelters. It's a challenge to have an overcrowded shelter because with overcrowded shelters comes disease. And some disease is very contagious and very hard to manage. And then just like humans, some dogs are going to have severe illness, get very sick and die quickly, and some will be able to weather the upper respiratory infection and heal quickly. But overcrowded leads to disease, and no matter how well we clean and how much effort we put into it, this is something that the only way we're going to combat disease is to bring down the population.
So many times in life, we're just trying to manage something, and sometimes there's a cure, but lots of times it's just trying to manage it. So how do we move forth from just not trying to manage it, but trying to get a real grasp on it so the population gets dramatically reduced? What has to be done?
The community needs to engage with the shelter. We can't do it alone. We need everyone working together to help us. So if you think that it's time for your family to welcome a pet into your home, don't go to a breeder, don't go to buy it somewhere. Come to the shelter. I guarantee if you're looking for a particular breed, we'll have it. You'll have to be patient. You'll have to keep checking, but you can find that golden doodle if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's still pretty hip to say a rescue dog or a shelter dog. There's something about that that's unique.
Well, you're saving a life. Why wouldn't that be hip, right?
It's way more hip than I recycle. I'm just going to tell you that. It's
Okay, good. I'll remember that.
Sorry, solid waste. All right, but it just is. Let's talk about animal cruelties, where people think that they can go ahead and hurt animals. Let's talk about how, if somebody sees something, what they should do.
Yeah, see something, say something. That applies for us as well. We work very closely with the state attorney's office. They're very diligent about reviewing cases and prosecuting where they can. There are challenges because a lot of people will send videos of something that they see, and that is not enough for us usually to arrest or prosecute, but we will remove pets when we think that they're being neglected or abused in any way.
Frequently, occasionally, we see where they're larger animals, horses in particular, they don't get fed. Do you find that when you go out and pick up dogs that they're starving?
We find a lot of dogs that are underweight, and in those cases we do. So, the shelter is full and we're trying to manage the number of dogs that are coming in on a daily basis, but we do prioritize dangerous and aggressive dogs and those that look sick and injured. And when you get to the shelter, we do feed them 3-4 times a day just to help them start gaining that weight back. And I can happily report that the dogs in our shelter have a nice weight on them. They're fed well and they eat well.
Let's talk a little bit about the messaging that you want the Dade Countyans to know about what Animal Services is all about.
We're there to save the lives of these vulnerable pets. And we do everything we can to keep them healthy when they're in the shelter and improve their quality of life when they're in the shelter. But I can't stress enough, the shelter is not a place for a dog or a cat. They belong in homes. The shelter should just be a temporary placement for them on their way to a home. Right now, we have animals that dogs in particular, that their length of stay at the shelter is over 3 months. So imagine 3 months of living in a kennel. It's a very stressful environment. Yes, you walk in, we have a beautiful shelter, but there's a lot of noise. It's very stressful. They smell so many different scents. So for them, it's very stress-provoking and anxiety-provoking. What we want to do is decrease that length of stay. Pre-COVID, dogs were only staying for about a week to 2 weeks. That's our goal. We want to make sure that within a week, we're already finding homes for our dogs. But once again, we need everyone, and we need the HOAs to cooperate. The restrictions from HOAs really make it prohibitive for people to have pets. So when you put a limit on weight of 25 pounds, that's really not helping the large dogs in our community who are going to be quiet, most likely. They're going to sit next to you, watch the football game on Saturday, watch the Canes win, hopefully. And they're just as mellow as a small dog.
You mentioned about working with the community. Tell us the names of some of the animal organizations that you work with.
Yeah, so FOMA is a big advocate of the shelter. I've been working with the shelter for many years. We have rescues that are out there that work with us all the time. They're down south primarily, and they're bringing in dogs to their rescue so that they don't have to come to the shelter. So that diversion from the shelter is a huge help to the community.
So part of that growth is, can you get groups of people that can keep that dog for a day, a week, a month, and try to adopt it?
Absolutely. Even the individual person, if you see a dog in your neighborhood, we're asking you, please bring it into your home, post it on Nextdoor, post it on Ring, put a picture, at your local grocery store. Most dogs, when they're roaming in the neighborhood, are just lost.
Somebody works here, lives in Coconut Grove. There was this old guy sitting outside his house. His dog got away. And the guy gave the fellow that works here a picture. The guy went out in Coconut Grove and put up signs. 6 weeks later, somebody calls.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. And it was hanging around the Coconut Grove Playhouse, which is a block or 2 or 3 from the guy's house. The guy was so happy. And this poor dog was just completely lost and trying to get home, as you were saying.
He needs his person.
It was just in the neighborhood.
That's usually the case.
So, I don't know, a couple of years ago, this very friendly dog comes to my door, and he'd been beat up. Not fresh. He's wagging his tail. Okay. It's very friendly. Okay. So I give him some water. It's very friendly. Okay. This is good. Okay. All right. He's hungry. I can see that. I give him some food. So he hangs out. Day, 2 days. Softy. Keep feeding him. I said, all right. I get in my car to leave. He runs after me.
Oh.
Down the street. I'm trying to find somebody, please take this dog. I can't have him anymore. So I said, let me go for a walk. As soon as I walk to my neighbor's house, nope, he lived next door.
See, you're giving great examples.
It was like, I call my wife, Susan, he lives next door. And sometimes it's just like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about on July 4th holidays and New Year's when people are shooting off all the fireworks. Tell us how much it scares the animals.
It's very scary for dogs. I mean, they hear at many times the amplification that we do, right? So for them, it's like bombs going off right next to them. So we tell people, keep them in a nice quiet room, away from windows, away from loud noises. Don't take them outside. Don't take them for a long walk when you know that fireworks are going to be going off soon. And don't take them to any of those festivities, because for them, it's just very traumatizing. And then that's where they will run away from you because they're trying to, find shelter, and you lose them.
When somebody adopts a dog, do they have a chip in them?
They do have a chip, and we want to remind everybody that it's not just get the chip, you have to register the chip. And if you move, make sure that you're updating that information, not just with Miami-Dade Animal Services, but also with the provider of the chip.
Can the county chip somebody's dog that's not adopted?
Yeah, we do chip. Yes, you could take your personal dog to us, and we will chip the dog.
And so imagine that here's this dog, he escapes on July 4th, and he's running until he can't hear the noise anymore. And, the chip is great. I remember one time, I lived out in horse country, there's this beagle with the ears hanging down. Yeah. And dog's friendly. I called animal control. The guy knew the dog. And he goes, the house is 2 doors away. I said, okay, I'm going to take him back. That's there.
Look at all the saving that you've been doing in the community.
We continue to work on it. Let's talk about any new technology that is out there or that you anticipate incorporating to help keep our dogs happier.
So we are working with Petco Love Lost. That is, and they're using AI. So if you have a lost dog or if you lost your own dog, you will upload a picture, and with AI, they match it to the dogs in our shelter. So you could quickly identify if.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's going to hopefully be
A match made in heaven.
It's going to be a match made in heaven. Yeah.
Wait, you take a picture, AI is going to scan all the dogs and say, there it is.
There it is.
That's amazing. What's it like for you when somebody's looking for their lost dog and they're walking up and down and they see it?
It's heartbreaking because I know I'm a pet owner, so I know how desperate I would feel if I was going kennel to kennel looking, hoping to find my dog, and then seeing all those dogs there. You don't want to see your dog in a kennel.
And you brought up something that's really significant. So here's a dog that at some point he was in somebody's house. He was used to the sights, used to the smells. He got it all laid out. He knows where it's safe. It's 24 hours a day, all the different smells that are running around and all the different people. How many people a day go into the shelter? Not dogs, people.
Yeah, so we have 80 volunteers dedicated just for the care of the dogs and the cats. And then, did I say volunteers? 80
Yes.
staff. And then we have volunteers that come in all day long on a daily basis. Daily, we probably have about 20, 25 volunteers. And then you have the customers. And everybody approaches them in a different way, right? So they're always having to navigate
pretty
that.
traumatic.
It's very traumatic.
So often when we see the little kittens over there, they seem to be much friendlier because they're all playing. Are they as traumatized as the dogs?
Probably not, because they're little kittens. So they've either been with our staff who's been bottle feeding them or with a foster that's been bottle feeding them. And the kittens move out of the shelter very quickly. So I was talking about we want them to stay a very short time period. Kittens stay a very short time period. It's the older animals that stay longer.
So somebody that wants to volunteer as a foster, why don't you tell us about the programs that you have?
Yeah, so we have a great foster program. Right now we have about 200 dogs living with fosters and still looking for their adopters. And you can just contact miamidade.gov/animals and you'll see a link there on how to become a foster, how to become a volunteer if you want to come and just walk dogs or cuddle kittens or help us give treats out to our animals. And there's many other ways that you can help. Just contact us and we'll connect you with the right job.
Okay, so speaking about helping, if somebody wants to donate, all right, their time, we know how they can do that. They can call, they can figure out what works for them. They can foster or go there and volunteer. But let's talk about products or money. If somebody wants to go to a pet store and buy some stuff, what kind of stuff would you like?
We always need bedding. So stuff that you could collect at home from your neighbors, beds, sheets, anything that's going to make it more comfortable for them while they're laying on the floor. We take food, collars, any kind of pet supplies, and it's easy. Just drop it off at the shelter. We have a donation area where you could drop off supplies. If you want to make a monetary donation, those donations would be used to help pets if they need more intense medical care than we can provide at the shelter. Those funds are used to send them to a special hospital or to help pet owners that can't afford to keep their pet due to medical expenses. We have a pet retention program that also is supported by donations. So donations could be made again at miamidade.gov/animals. There's a link there for donations.
And so if somebody was at their local big pet place, they could buy a couple extra bags or cans of food and tell their little kids, we're going to take some of this over to animal services.
And you're changing the life of a pet for that day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also hopefully that we show the little ones how you do that type of stuff.
Absolutely. Getting kids engaged, as you know, is key to changing behavior. So if we get the kids involved early, learning about responsible pet ownership, learning about what it is to be in a shelter and how quickly we want to move pets out, they'll be part of the solution.
And how are you going to improve the public's trust in what we are doing with our animals?
Showing them that day to day, we are saving lives every day. We save so many lives, and we go to extreme measures in many cases to provide medical care. We cast legs, we cast broken bones. We do everything we can to help the pet heal and have a good quality of life. So just being transparent with the community, inviting them in. Everyone that has a question about what's happening at Miami-Dade Animal Services, I invite you to visit. You can visit our Doral facility. You can visit the Medley facility that people have negative connotations about. Come and visit, because our animals are being cared by our very dedicated staff and by volunteers who are there daily, giving of their time.
A couple of years ago, I remember seeing, I think it was a dachshund, a little dachshund with no back feet, no back legs.
He's on a little wheelchair. And this is the dog was able to provide that dog with a great home.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think they brought it here, if I remember right.
Probably.
And it was like amazing that the county, the people said, let's get that done. And then there was another dog. The previous owner had wrapped the mouth.
Yeah. And he had that.
Right, with tape or wire. It was really horrendous.
Yeah.
So you have both those stories where you save the lives of these little guys. And to see that little puppy with no feet, it wasn't no feet, it was no legs, if I remember.
There was no legs, no back legs, but he's like on a little wheelchair now.
Yeah. And it was like amazing. Running around like everything is good.
Yeah.
So here we are. This is October 2025. Where are we in a year from now?
In a year from now, we have really exciting news. We have a new shelter coming. We're in the design phase right now. The shelter will be located down in Homestead, and our intent is to get closer to that community where we know there's a lot of free roaming dogs because of the farmlands and agricultural community. So look for that. In 2027 will be the grand opening, and it's going to be a state-of-the-art shelter really geared to improving access to not just spay-neuter service, but also to adoptions.
2020-21, when CHI went in their vans and they took the COVID shots down to Naranja and Goulds and Homestead, I was really moved that they were able to do that and take it to the people, because they couldn't come up north, or they were afraid, or they didn't have a family, or they were concerned, and they went and they did it. And that's the way I look at your new shelter. You're going to where the people are, waiting instead of waiting for the people to come where you are.
Yeah, and we do that through mobile services as well. We have Wellness on Wheels. It's a medical van that goes into communities to provide free vaccines and microchips. We also have a large spay-neuter mobile unit. Right now, it's at the South-Dade Government Center, providing spay-neuter services to cats and dogs. So if you're looking for services down south, go to our website where you can see the hours of operation for that spay and neuter unit down at the South-Dade Government Center.
So let's backtrack a little bit as far as what you did before you went to the animal services.
Yeah, so before animal services, I was also a public servant, but working with children. And I was working with our kids of Miami-Dade and Monroe, who provided family services, worked with DCF to prevent children from coming into foster homes, and trying to keep families together.
So how did you get into this caring business? What happened when you were younger that caused you to those two big tracks? I got my MBA from University of Miami. That MBA was in finance, and so I went straight into finance and had a great career there, but there was always something missing. I wanted to be able to look at my kids and say, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm helping, this is how I give back. And finance wasn't giving me that fulfillment. So I went to work at Our Kids and worked my way up until I made it to the executive level. And I think we really made an impact in the community, and it made an impact on me for sure. And then I knew that I needed to stay in this public service realm. What was that little embryo many, many years ago that grew into that awareness? Do you remember when that started brewing?
It started brewing. I got a bachelor's degree in psychology, and just knowing that there's people out there that need our help, and the awareness that there's a lot of gratification that comes from being of service to others.
And we know in the high schools, you got to do community service.
Yeah, that's a big thing now, right?
And we see that they get a taste of it, and I'm glad. Number one, you're in the arena, because as we get older, you start to recognize there's some things that we can do. And Grant and I have been fortunate to interview a lot of the folks from lots of not-for-profits, and we know in Miami-Dade County, if you just have some direction, you don't have to have the money. You just need somebody to hold your hand and walk you into some services. We see it with everybody and all over. And if somebody needs some help with some animals, they can call you. They can figure out what they're going to do. There are plenty of other animal services, not the county facilities, they can help direct. If somebody wants to volunteer, they can go there and volunteer, or foster puppies, dogs, kitties.
Yeah. Look, and owning a dog can be so therapeutic. We know that owning a pet brings down your anxiety and increases your happiness. It gives you a purpose, someone to care for, or something to care for. But it does fulfill that connection where we know people are so lonely, especially after COVID. We know that people are having more depression, more anxiety, more loneliness. Bring home a dog. He's going to welcome you every time you walk into a room. He's going to make you feel like you're the sun, the moon, and the stars. There's an old saying, feed your pet before yourself. Yes. So thank you very much for the service. If I could just absolutely remind everyone that we have our signature adoption event. It's coming up October 18th at Deerwood Bonita Lakes Park. It's right across from Metro Zoo. So we want everyone to please join us. It's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to be a great family event. Even if you don't think that you're ready to adopt right now, we'll have opportunities for you to foster. Just provide, a week or two. You're going to have some critters there? We're going to have over 100 dogs there. We're going to have... Bring your grandchildren. You're going to go home with a dog, right? I love it. All right. So, Annette, Jose, thank you very much for being here. Let's look at this camera over here. First, I want to thank Emily for producing the show. And folks, there's a thing called the Disney rule. And the Disney rule is when you hug someone, don't stop until they do. Have a good day, and thanks for joining us. Thank you.